Watkins, we are all set. The sun's disappeared. Wasn't expecting that. Just for the start of the match, it's Sunderland to get us underway, and Aston Villa won the toss and they've turned Sunderland around, so Sunderland will be playing from right to left in the first half, and they immediately played the ball not directly forward, as we were just talking about, the trend for many. They actually played it all the way back to goalkeeper Roofs, who was able to deliver it away downfield. So red and white stripes for Sunderland, black shorts, red socks with the white tops, and Aston Villa in there, sort of black, grey, two-tone away shirts, white shorts and black socks, and the ball is out of play for a throw-in to Sunderland, which is going to be taken by Trey Hume over there on the right-hand side. Takes it to the halfway line, it's stabbed downfield, and that will bounce out of play for a throw-in for Sunderland right next to their corner flag.
It was interesting to see how Unai Emery was going to line up with his forward players today, as we say, looking for the goal. Ollie Watkins, as we know, will lead the line. In behind him, Gesson, Buendia and Rodgers, looking like Rodgers is going to occupy that number 10 role. Wondered if he would just give him a little bit more space and freedom out wide, but he hasn't. Buendia will play on the left-hand side, Gesson over here on this near side on the right, and Morgan Rodgers in that number 10 role.
Yeah, they're certainly looking for more from everyone, but certainly from Morgan Rodgers, the PFA Young Player of the Year. But he, like his teammates, yet to get going really in terms of this Premier League season. Sunderland attacking down the left-hand side with Reinildo, but the ball runs away from him, out of play for a goal kick to Villa. So full time in the 12 o'clock kickoff, three of them actually, 3 12 o'clock kickoffs in the WSL. But Sohail Sarr, he has the news from Chelsea-Leicester.
Yeah, where they've beaten Leicester, Chelsea have drawn by a goal to nil. That's 3 out of 3 for Chelsea. The scoreline was narrow, but Chelsea were comfortable throughout. Agabiba Jones' goal in the first half proved to be the winning moment, and a day, John, when the women's game remembers Matt Beard, it's only fitting that one of his former teams win. Full time, Chelsea 1, Leicester 0.
Yes, well said, Sohail. Absolutely shocking news that last night. I can tell you that Brighton have beaten West Ham by 4 goals to 1. I'll bring the Aston Villa Liverpool score once we get it. In fact, of course, that match was postponed after the news last night. So Brighton 4, West Ham 1, Chelsea 1, Leicester 0. The full-time scores. Manchester United, Arsenal kicking off at 2:50, and there will, of course, be coverage of those matches on the Women's Football Show tonight, but I'm sure that there will be many fulsome tributes to Matt Beard. Sunderland attacking down the right. Shamsteen Talbi, back in field it comes to Granit Xhaka. The Sunderland captain, the number 34, 33 years old next Saturday he is, but of all of the signings that they've made and all of the money that has been spent, I think the free or the relatively small fee that they spent on Granit Xhaka, 13 to 17 million pounds, could very well prove to be the best value, Paul.
Absolutely. Key, we spoke before the game, didn't we? The eyes and ears that the manager has in the dressing room, and I think the recruitment of Diarra and Siddiqui, we know Diarra's missing today, but those type of players in and around him, it's been a big overhaul of playing staff. Obviously Sunderland weren't one of the favourites to come up last season, beat Sheffield United surprisingly in that playoff final at Wembley, and they literally have overhauled the whole squad. You look at how they've integrated the new players along with some of the players from last season. It's been a big job.
Sunderland attacking down the left-hand side. Reinildo, the left back, in comes the challenge on him. Good work from Gesson, tackling back, almost like a right back, the way that he put in that challenge, which took it out of play for a corner to Sunderland, the first of the match.
Yeah, that's not the area that Unai Emery is going to want Evan Gesson occupying, tracking back there. He's going to be playing on the right-hand side, higher up the field, but he's almost in the right-back position there, in front of Matty Cash, doubling up and protecting his full-back.
So the corner to be taken by Hume, right-footed from the left-hand side. Unai Emery looks quite fidgety down there on the side of the pitch, doesn't he, watching his team defend this set piece. Hume, deep one towards the back post, which is headed away. It was Gesson who got to that as well, with that mane of hair inside his 6-yard box to head it out of play down the right-hand side. So a potential for one of those popular long throws that we're seeing everyone execute this season.
Never catch on, John. Never catch on.
So here we go, long throw number 1. It's a loopy one to the near post. Camara gets up to head it down for Villa, bounces out into the full-back position, where Buendia is able to play it away up the line, but Sunderland are back in possession, going back to the halfway line, where Reinildo will play it to his left to Sadiki, and Sunderland actually go further back, and they might even go all the way back to goalkeeper Roofs, which they do. So let's get an update from Stefan Schemmelt on the T20.
England have taken a useful wicket. Ross Adair was going well with 33 from 23 balls, but he's been well caught by Jordan Cox at deep mid-wicket off the leg spin of Rayand Ahmed. Ireland are 52 for 2 in the 7th.
Commentary on Sports Extra 2 for that one, so you need your BBC Sounds app for Sports Extra 2. Still relatively new service, but only on BBC Sounds like Sports Extra 3. 0-0 here at the Stadium of Light, and then Evan Gesson has been upended inside his own half, and referee Sam Barrett gives a free kick. That's all, free kick to Villa.
Just approaching the 6-minute mark, and neither team have really settled as of yet. No real sustained passes of possession for each side. Both are choosing to go long. Looking at the Sunderland midfield, Enzo Lefebvre playing higher up on the left-hand side, but it's actually Chris Rigg who's going to be the one that's allowed to join Wilson Isidore when Sunderland do have the ball. He's the one that's going to be more advanced.
Yes, big day for him. The number 11, the 18-year-old Chris Rigg, playing in the Sunderland midfield in the Premier League for the first time, or at least starting in the Premier League for the first time. Aston Villa attacking down the left, but it's whacked out of play for a throw-in to Villa, 10 yards back from the corner flag. Luca Digna is just wandering around in that ample area just off the pitch here. A good distance between the white line and the advertising hoardings. Ideal for long throws, actually, but this is a short one. Ball played in now by Villa. Roofs comes for it, well out of his 6-yard box to his left-hand side, and you can hear the ovation that he gets from the Sunderland supporters. It's a little bit like Joe Root, isn't it, for the England team. Granit Xhaka, long crossfield pass, but that runs away from Talbi and out of play for a throw into Villa in their own left-back area.
Yeah, he's been an excellent signing, the goalkeeper Robin Roofs. Surprisingly that they brought in another number 1 in the summer. Anthony Patterson had a really good season last year, was highly thought of here. Raised a lot of eyebrows when Roofs came in, but he's certainly was proven to be worth his price tag what they paid. Just his performance alone at Crystal Palace last week, I think.
Oh, well, that and also, well, every match that they've played so far, Sunderland, 16 attempts on his goal, he saved 13 of them.
And they're the stats that I like. They're the best stats. You know, you look at clean sheets, you look at other stats, but the goalkeeper stats that you should look at is the save to shot percentage. However many shots the goalkeeper saved, the percentage of saves that he's made to those shots. That's the most accurate for me.
And also in the last home match, if you remember, he saved the Sharda penalty when Sunderland went on to beat Brentford by 2-1. And you pointed out to me, from the club historian Rob Mason in the match programme today, that was the first Sunderland goalkeeper to make a penalty save in the Premier League at the Stadium of Light, remarkably. So a piece of real history. Oh, that's a miscontrolled pass from Hume, the right back. The ball dropping over his shoulder. He tried to bring it down and he's kicked it straight out of play for a Villa corner. Yeah,
there's no real pressure on Hume there. I think he was just trying to be a little bit too clever, in all honesty, trying to take it down on the end of his toe. He had nobody around him, and it was an awful touch. Came off his shin, and he's given Villa a corner they weren't expecting.
Yeah, careless mistake by the right back. 8 minutes played. Sunderland 0, Aston Villa 0, still Bournemouth 0, Newcastle 0. Corner is taken short, and then left-footed delivery towards the back post, but that is headed away, and it was actually Hume who got his head to it to clear it away into the centre circle. And then Villa go all the way back to Martinez. So 0-0 it is, and also that penalty save was the first time that a Sunderland goalkeeper had saved a penalty at home in the top flight for almost half a century.
It's an incredible stat.
It is an extraordinary one. couldn't believe it when you showed it to me.
Granted, they've been out of the Premier League for a while, but this stadium's been built for a long, long time.
They've played plenty of football in the top flight in that time as well. Sunderland 0, Aston Villa 0. So very impressive from Rob Mason. And also earlier on today, I saw Rob, but who's always good to see, but also saw Doug Weatherall, who was at the ground today, who is for a long, long time the doyen of football writers in the northeast of England. He's just turned 93 this week. He was brought here today by his daughter Julia, but he's still a regular attender. First came to watch Sunderland at Roker Park when he was 9 years old. He's still coming, and he's 93. So really good to see him in good form. Here is Villa with the ball at the back. Tyrone Mings, left-footed up towards the halfway line. That is a hefty challenge by Mukiele, but on Ollie Watkins, but no free kick. Sunderland have the ball inside their own half. The sun comes brightly out here again, 0-0. And Sunderland, Xhaka plays it. Again, this is for Ronaldo down the left-hand side, but he can't catch up with that. It's out of play, and it is a goal kick for Aston Villa. So let's see how things have started. Bournemouth, Newcastle, Andy Stevenson.
Goalless so far, but a confident start from Bournemouth. The best chance of the match fell to Tyler Adams, whose drilled shot was saved by the legs of Nick Pope, and just now at the other end, Jacob Murphy has had an effort saved at close range by Petrovic. Good start, Bournemouth 0, Newcastle 0.
Yes, quite interesting the changes that have been made, as we heard from Andy a little earlier, how really changing things up after Thursday night, and that's quite a test for Newcastle with the start that they've made to go to Bournemouth, who've made such an encouraging start. So that is on Sports Extra. Long pass forward for Villa to attack, but Gesson can't reach that. In fact, Mukiele is able to come across and put that out of play for a throw-in to Villa down this right-hand side. Aston Villa coming here, still looking for their first Premier League goal of the season. First time in the club's history they've failed to score in their first 4 league matches of a campaign. Throw-in taken short, and then it's played back to Cash, who actually didn't pass it back to Gesson until it had rolled over the line, so it's a throw-in to Sunderland. That careless.
It's a relationship that they're going to have to work on, Cash and Gesson in the side today, playing on the right-hand side. Matty Cash in behind. He's doubled up well, Gesson, defensively, but actually going forward there's been 1 or 2 misunderstandings between the two of them and put the ball needlessly out of play once again.
Villa as well, we were told, also arrived a little late for this match today, and it can be tricky getting to the Stadium of Light, but the Villa team coach didn't pull up outside the stadium until an hour before the match, as Camara is dispossessed in midfield. Sunderland have got it back with Sadiki, and back it goes towards the edge of the penalty area. The pass is dug out cross-field by Alderete, and then Rigg plays it to the right-hand side. Sunderland attacking with the ball in from Talby, and then Isidore in the middle. He was tracked by Ezri Konza, who did well actually. Konza shoulder to shoulder, and he could only head it over the top.
Good piece of defending by Ezri Konza. It was Talby who was making the near post run. Chris Rigg does really well. Sunderland work the ball back to front, 1 or 2 passes. He holds Rigg, plays the ball into Talby, who whips the ball near post. Isidore gets across the front. Konza's presence puts him off, heads it harmlessly over the bar. Promising from Sunderland.
Best chance yet, Paul, I think.
Yeah, decent ball in from Talby.
Sunderland 0, Aston Villa 0, and now the sun comes out very, very brightly. It's in this part of the world, possibly right across the country, it's a real bright, sunny weather day after a very, very wet Saturday yesterday. Ball bounces down for Sunderland. Here's Isidore, rather awkwardly plays the ball in field, comes off Mings and sliced off his shin up into the air, but behind him Martinez in the goal was able to catch that quite comfortably.
Isidore there, 30 yards out almost. It's more hope than expectation. He swings his right boot at the ball, tries to have a shot on Martinez's goal, gets it all wrong. Tyrone Mings just takes a wild sweep at it with his right boot, and I think the deflection could have caused Martinez more problems than the initial strike itself.
Yes, Mayenda on the bench again for Sunderland. Isidore in the team, the top scorer from last season, scored in both home Premier League matches. Scored that 3rd goal, if you remember, against West Ham in the opening match when he ran all the way through, finished brilliantly, and then he was the one who scored the very late winner in the 6th minute of added time against Brentford in the win here. Sunderland going for what would be 3 home wins out of 3 in the Premier League. In the whole of the last season, when they were last in the Premier League 8 years ago, when they were relegated in that season under David Moyes, they won precisely 3 home matches all season. And that would be quite a statement, quite a change if they were able to win their first 3. But we're away off that yet. 15 minutes played. Sunderland 0, Aston Villa 0. And Roofs takes the goal kick, this latest goal kick for Sunderland downfield, which comes off the head of Isidore and rolls out of play for a throw-in to Cash. Konza, who we mentioned there, Konza has scored this season for England. Matty Cash, who's about to take this throw-in, has scored twice for Poland, scored in both of their World Cup qualifiers against the Netherlands and against Finland earlier this month. But who is it, I wonder, who is going to finally get Villa off the mark in the Premier League this season? As Camara is able to win the ball back for Villa inside their own half, and then gives it to Buendia, who runs into red and white stripes, 2 of them there, well defended, and it bounces down, and Villa are able to play it forward. Siddiqui, and then Siddiqui gets it back again in the right back position. Back to the T20, Stefan Schemmel.
Yeah, 2 wickets in one. Jamie Overton over, both from deliveries banged into the pitch. First, Lorcan Tucker found Luke Wood at deep square leg. Wood juggled what would have been a horrible drop, eventually clung on, Tucker out for 1, and then Curtis Campher, the new man, picks out Tom Banton at long on to depart for 2. So Ireland 59 for 4 in the 10th.
Thank you very much. Commentary continues, Sports Extra 2, as Morgan Rogers plays the ball forward, but that's a very comfortable one for Roofs to catch. If you just switched onto us on 5 Live, Azerbaijan Grand Prix already over. So the Checkered Flag podcast will be up shortly. We'll have more on that at half-time, I'm sure. Reaction after. If you don't want to know the outcome, just avert your ears for a moment. It was won by Max Verstappen, with George Russell second, Carlos Sainz third. So more on that at half-time. And also the World Athletics, which has wrapped up, which has been tremendously entertaining over the course of the last week or so. And a silver for Georgia Hunter-Bell and a bronze for Keely Hodgkinson in the 800 metres, the 2 medals for Great Britain and Northern Ireland today. Villa, with the ball on the edge of their own penalty area, Mings is able to play it up towards Ollie Watkins. Watkins, those dispossessed, and Sunderland have got it back with Granit Xhaka. Hume is the man who took it away from Watkins, played through for Isidore, who shoots goalwards from the angle, but Esri Konza was able to slide across and block that behind for a corner to Sunderland.
That's another good piece of defending by Esri Konza. He's up berating his central midfielders for allowing the ball to come through so easy. Camara was passed very easily by Rigg in the centre of midfield, slips the ball down the side, and it's a well-timed run by Isidore. But once again, Konza's pitch positional awareness is excellent, gets straight across Konza and makes the block.
Yeah, and Konza had plenty to say, didn't he, to his teammates after that.
He wasn't happy with Camara,
no,
really wasn't.
No, exactly. Xhaka to take the corner, it's an in-swinger. Martinez comes, gets both hands to it, but didn't get much distance on it, but he was fortunate. He pushed it straight out to Buendia, who volleyed it away downfield. Sunderland come again as they play from right to left, Sunderland, in this first half. So attacking the north stand. Ball with Sunderland still inside their own half, and then played back to Robin Roofs, this 22-year-old Dutch goalkeeper, Dutch under-21 international. He was in the Dutch squad, wasn't he, Paul, for the recent World Cup qualifiers, but for Bruggen and Flecken, 2 familiar names, who are ahead of him in the pecking order, but he's not doing his cause any harm, is he?
No, he's got great potential, and I think there's a lot of people that stood up and took note when Sunderland signed and paid the fee that they did from NEC. And when you look at him, he's still 22 years old. He only made 37 league appearances before he signed for Sunderland, so it was a chance to take, and they've thrown him in at the deep end in the Premier League, but he's certainly proving up to the task as of yet.
Yep. Roundabout, well, it's between 9 and nearly 12 million pounds that they paid for him from, as you say, NEC Nijmegen.
That's the better left to you. I just wrote with NEC.
Throw in for Sunderland now, down the left-hand side. So, again, the long throw routine. And it is Mukiele who comes across to take this. And he's taken it right down towards the corner flag, which is not particularly near to where it went out of play, but I think he quite fancies this angle. Mukiele takes it into the near post. It's glance-headed goalwards, but it looped off. Well, there were 2 or 3 Sunderland players after that, and it might even have come off a Villa man, or did it? It was caught by Martinez anyway, comfortably on the goal line.
It's really interesting there, Emi Martinez. I've not seen that from a goalkeeper before. We see the long throws get launched in at a really low trajectory and at the near post. Emi Martinez actually started outside his near post, nearer to the edge of his 6-yard box, as though a defender would, to go and head the ball. He wasn't anywhere near his goal or his goal line. His starting position was so far advanced that when the ball was headed there off the Villa defender, it nearly went over him.
I think it was Alderete who got his head to it, the Paraguayan central defender with the beard, the number 15, but players all together, and he couldn't get any power on it. So Sunderland 0, Aston Villa 0. Here is Camera. Bogard on the bench today, played forward by McGinn. This is a high one. Roofs comes though and catches that quite easily, just dropped into his midriff. He caught it a little bit like our engineer Chris Banner when he caught the ball at St James's Park on Thursday night.
Did you get one, did you?
He's been dining out on that since then. It was a magnificent catch. As Rigg fouls Camera, John McGinn just comes across and has a word to say to Sam Barrett, the referee. So 0-0 here, Sunderland 0, Aston Villa 0, still Bournemouth 0, Newcastle 0, and free kick for Villa that Camera will take. Boubacar Camara, and Nana is still on the injured list for Aston Villa. You know, he's an important player, isn't he? And no Tielemans today, out with a calf problem, but Camara back from a hamstring problem, came on in the Carabao Cup on Tuesday night, late on in the match when Villa ended up losing on penalties. Matty Cash had one of his penalties saved. Ball in from the right-hand side, but Cash's crosses beyond Mings and bounces through for a goal kick. So Sunderland 0, Aston Villa 0. And what is happening in Bournemouth? Andy Stevenson.
Well, since you were last with me, Bournemouth have had a goal disallowed. The offside flag denying David Brooks an opening goal. Another lovely move from Bournemouth, it has to be said. Evan Nilsson crossed for Brooks, who was beyond the last man, checked by VAR. It's Bournemouth 0, Newcastle 0.
So commentary on that continues on Sports Extra on your digital radio via your BBC Sounds app. And Sunderland take this goal kick. Take it short, out from the back. It's being carried forward for Sunderland by Mukiele, then a long one up towards Talby, but Villa have regained possession, although a slip there on the far side from Digne, and then in comes the challenge, but the ball just bounces away after Hume's challenge for Villa. And Konza at the back. Konza, who was absolutely thrilled to bits to score that goal in Belgrade when I spoke to him after the match in Serbia. Sunderland again retake possession, and now Talby, Shemstein Talby, carrying it over the halfway line, giving the ball to Rigg, who wriggles away and then hits a long crossfield pass, which gives Lefay no chance and bounces through for a goal kick. 0-0, Paul Robinson.
Yeah, it's pretty much, there's not a lot going on in all honesty, is there? Either end, there's no real chances. Neither goalkeeper's been forced into any type of save. Possession-wise, it's very, very even at the moment. Both teams really feeling each other out. You can see both managers beneath us on the touchline. Unai Emery's slightly the more animated of the two. Villa looking for set plays. Tyrone Mings has gone forward on one or two occasions. But I think for Aston Villa, the key is to get Morgan Rogers engaged in the game. They've got Buendia and Gesand who are playing in the wide areas, but they're not really involved in the game. I think the key for Aston Villa is going to be Morgan Rogers linking it all together. But at the moment, he's having a very quiet game. Yeah,
so far Roofs, well, he hasn't had a save to make, has he? And actually, creating chances has not been the issue for Aston Villa, as it's brought forward by McGinn but then blocked out of play for a throw. If you actually count the match at the end of last season against Manchester United, it is now 5 Premier League matches without scoring a goal. But in those 5 matches, they've had 49 attempts at scoring goals in the Premier League without being able to break through. Now, I don't think we've added to that yet, have we, today?
No, definitely not, nothing at all. And on the flip side of that, Sunderland have scored 5 goals from just 9 shots this season.
That's right.
On a conversion of like 56%.
Yeah.
So that's the opposite end of the scale, isn't it?
5 from 9 attempts on target. They've scored 5 goals. Villa continue to come forward. Morgan Rogers is tripped, takes a quick free kick, even though Sunderland players were standing in front of the ball. Rogers actually played it past them for Gesson, but referee Barrett has asked them to come back and take it again.
No, he's really not happy, Morgan Rogers. He's gone back.
I'm not surprised.
Straight in the referee's face. Can understand as well, can't you? Really frustrated.
I presume that's letter of the law, Paul, that he'll have said you have to wait for the whistle.
It's going to have to be, isn't it? I mean, I think that's what he's just said. Morgan Rogers shrugs his shoulders, arms by his side, goes off like a sulking school kid back into the box.
Speaking of which, Unai Emery as well actually does the same thing after protesting about that to the fourth official, Bobby Madley, puts his hands in his pockets, puts his head down and walks back towards the dugout. Free kick then. So this will count, to be taken by Buendia. Raises his right arm. Players grouped together between the penalty spot and the edge of the area. It's actually Matty Cash playing it in deep to the back post. Gessan goes for it, but Sunderland headed away. Rogers across. Gessan with a chance, shoots straight to the goalkeeper. Watkins, that's blocked as well, but the offside flag was up. And the cheers will tell you that Robin Roofs has made another couple of saves.
It was a simple free kick from Aston Villa. Outswinger from Matty Cash this time. The ball was bobbling around. Sunderland didn't deal with the danger at all. Ball falls in the box to Gessan. Sunderland defender heads it up in the air, comes back into the middle of the 6-yard box, 6-7 yards out for Gessan, and he hits it straight at Roofs. It was a decent save, it was a good block, but in blocking it, it falls straight to Ollie Watkins, who in turn is offside. If Gessan's shot would have gone in, it would have counted. Watkins was offside on the rebound. Poor effort from Gessan, really. Free shot and goal, 7 yards out, left foot, free open target straight to the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper makes himself big. Good block. Ollie Watkins there to put the rebound away. Goalkeeper saved it again, but Ollie Watkins was offside. But the initial strike from Gessan would have counted.
Yes, it would. So we can now call that 50 attempts on goal for Aston Villa since they last scored one in the Premier League. Did score in the Cup on Tuesday night, Harvey Elliott, which went straight through the Brentford goalkeeper, and who then turned out to be the man who saved the penalties in the shootout that knocked Aston Villa out.
And you know what happens at Aston Villa if you score a goal? You get put on the bench.
Harvey Elliott.
Not allowed to do that, apparently.
No. Elliott and Jadon Sancho on the bench, and Sunderland in possession. But that's another save then, isn't it, for Roofs, so he can add that to his list. So saved 14 from 17 now, and as you say, Paul, if Gessan had been able to place that either side of him, that would have been 1-0 Villa and the drought would have been over. But it goes on, and it's Sunderland 0, Aston Villa 0, and it is still Bournemouth 0, Newcastle 0. And the ball with Martinez, all in yellow today, the Argentine World Cup winner, who we thought for a while this summer was going to be headed to Manchester United, but is still here at Aston Villa. And the ball's been deflected out of play, and what is Buendia so unhappy about here? Well, it has been given as a handball, hasn't it?
It's been given as a handball, a free kick to Aston Villa.
I think that's what he was complaining about.
I don't think he understood the referee's signal. I think he thought initially that the throw had been given,
Yeah, it is a free kick. Sunderland 0, Aston Villa 0. Not the warmest afternoon of the season so far. In fact, Paul, I think we can call this the coldest afternoon of the season so far, as the ball is played in from the right-hand side by Cash, but cleared away on the edge of the penalty area by Alderete. Out of play for a throw for Villa that Cash will take. This is for Gessan, playing on the right-hand side for Villa, but that was headed away by Alderete. Alderete, who was signed from Getafe in Spain. I mean, the amount, the money, there's some, the transfer fees of these Sunderland players. They've, the strategy there was either very well worked out before or very rapidly worked out after they won the playoff final, and so far bearing fruit with 7 points from 4 matches. 0-0 today. Ball played up towards the halfway line. Isidore chests that down. Then it's played for him back by Lefebvre, but Ezri Konsa was able to get himself in the right position and pass it back to Martinez.
And we've seen lots of teams come into the Premier League, haven't we, and have that scattergun effect and spend hundreds of millions and bring a lot of players in, but that doesn't guarantee you Premier League survival, as we've seen. It's integrating those players with the players that you've already got, and the influx that Sunderland have had, I think, is possibly bigger than many others of recent times. But what he's done with this team, he's got results in the short term.
Sunderland with the ball inside their own half, played forward to Talby. Talby now, McGinn's trying to chase him, still going Talby. McGinn then goes down and wins the free kick. Well, you can hear what the Sunderland supporters think of that. Debatable, but I think that's quite cleverly played by John McGinn, winning the free kick.
Just gets himself goal side, doesn't he? Running back towards his own byline. Knows where got nowhere to go. His only out ball was possibly Martinez, but Isidore was cutting that off. Very clever, uses all of his experience. John McGinn.
Sunderland 0, Aston Villa 0. This is 5 Live from the BBC. 5 Live you can listen to as well via the BBC Sounds app if you've not got it yet. Free to download, and I guarantee it will change your life. Yes, as important as that. Do it. Do it today. Don't delay. Can't believe there's anyone who hasn't got it yet.
Do you know what? I'm one of these who's a bit of a tech phobe and don't download things, but actually having the BBC Sounds app in my car, it has indeed changed my life.
Yeah.
I can listen to you, I can listen to Ian Dennis, ABB, the commentator's curse, or whatever it is you call it these days.
The commentator's view, Paul.
The last of the summer wine.
Which you've revolutionised with your suggestion of unintended pub names.
Is that still going?
Last couple of weeks we've done unintended pub names, and the great British public has joined in as well, I can tell you. 0-0 here, Sunderland 0, Aston Villa 0, and Sunderland win a free kick on the halfway line.
If this continues like this, we may as well start this afternoon.
Give it a chance.
Been very stop-start so far, hasn't it? A lot of it's been played in the middle third of the field. Neither side really getting the grip of the game.
At Stadium of Light, great to see this place. Not absolutely full. The sort of top tier, there's a section in front of where the Villa fans are, which is has only got stewards in it. That's just a thin area of red seats in the top tier in front of the Villa fans. Well done for them getting here for a 2 o'clock kick-off on a Sunday. Free kick for Sunderland. Long pass forward. That's headed across the box, but on the edge of the area. Rigg arriving, had a swing at it, but didn't make any meaningful contact, but it's won back by Talby, and Talby with a cross, headed away by Konza near the penalty spot. And then Buendia takes that down, but his touch gives it back to Xhaka. Talby infield, here's Rigg again, and the teenager actually rolls it back into the centre circle, where it is passed out to the left-hand side to Sadiki, who goes all the way back to the halfway line. Back to the T20 again, Stefan Shamil.
Got a hold on Ireland here. 5th wicket to go is Harry Tector, out for 28, trying to reverse sweep the left arm spin of Liam Dawson. Top edge caught by Adil Rashid at short third man. Ireland are 90 for 5 halfway through the 14th over.
Commentary on Sports Extra 2 on your BBC Sounds app. And stoppage here because there's been a coming together. Matty Cash and Reinildo, the left back, who've clattered into one another, so we're going to have a little stoppage, aren't we? And all the players are coming across to this is in front of the Sunderland coaching area,
and it's one that VAR will look at, because Reinildo plays the ball back, Matty Cash pushes him over, nothing really much to it, and then Ronaldo, the fullback, kicks up, and his boot's right in between Matty Cash's legs. He catches him on the inside of the thigh. It's a clear kick out, and that's why Cash has stayed down. I mean, Cash bundles into him, but as he's on the ground...
That is careless, Paul.
He does, he kicks out. They are going to be looking at this VAR.
If he gets himself sent off for that, and where is the referee? Has he come across? He's shown the red card. He's got the red card out, and he's sent him off.
Yeah, he's off.
Yeah, he has seen that. Reinildo is sent off. Now that is... I mean, that's bordering on stupidity.
Petulant stupidity.
To do that. I mean, there was nothing really in the challenge. He fell on his back, Reinildo, on his back, with Cash over the top of him, and he kicked out, he sort of pushed out with his foot into Cash's midriff. The referee's seen it, Sam Barrett, and the red card has been shown, and the Sunderland left-back is sent off, and they are down to 10 men, and we've played just over half an hour.
I wouldn't mind, but it wasn't even that bad a tackle from Matty Cash. There was a coming together, it was a bit of a to and fro-in, and when the two of them came together, Matty Cash, he just kind of bundled him over, didn't he? He put two hands into his chest, bundled him over, inadvertently fell on top of him. No malice in falling on top of Ronaldo, but as he did that, the fullback kicked out, and as I say, his leg was right in between Matty Cash's legs. Studs went up the inside of his thigh, and the referee, to his credit, he was there on hand. Red card immediately, and the stadium's stunned. I mean, there's a lot of... It's quiet. The VAR message is just coming up on the screen over there. I think there's some people in the stadium that are just realising that he's been sent off.
Yeah, And actually, I never quite understand this. Some Sunderland fans actually applaud him as he leaves the field, and he claps back at them. It's taken him all this time to actually walk off the field, even though he's right next to the Sunderland dugout. But he has gone, the Mozambique international, and Sunderland are going to have to rejig here.
But did you notice it was literally right beneath us, right in front of Sunderland manager Regis Lebris, and he never moved the muscle. He saw it firsthand. He was probably the nearest to it. Didn't complain to the referee. Immediately he kind of turned away and spoke to his coaching staff and said, I've seen that, I don't want to be party to that. That wasn't nice. He was petulant, really, really stupid. Thankfully Matty Cash is okay and the game's going to resume, but Sunderland a man light.
Yeah, and they're just organising themselves and working out the change that they're going to make. So Reinildo sent off with, I made it, I think 33, I think it was in the 33rd minute, his sending off. Sunderland 0, Aston Villa 0. Xhaka to take this free kick. It's actually, and it was a Sunderland free kick to restart play. It was a foul by Cash on Reinildo. They'd got the free kick and he got himself sent off. I mean, that makes it even worse.
It was really, really petulant, really poor piece of play from Ronaldo. And as you say, the free kick had already been awarded to Sunderland. The free kick just been taken by Granit Xhaka, take the deflection, gone out for a throw on the far side.
So throw in for Sunderland, bounces in the 6-yard box, Martinez dropping down, and actually I think the offside flag might have been up as well. Hang on a minute. Now, did he play that out, Martinez, and it hit Konza and bounced up and he caught it? Anyway, referee's allowed it, play to continue. Villa with the man advantage now. Dan Ballard is going to come on. So this is Dan Ballard, a great favourite here, who's missed the last 3 matches with a groin injury, but fit to return, and now having to come on in the last 10 minutes of the first half. 34th minute it was that Reinildo was sent off, and he's going to come on to replace Chris Rigg from the midfield. So it's the teenager who is making way. Ballard has gone in between Mukiele and Alderete, and it looks as though, is it going to be 3 central defenders with Lefay as the left wing back? I think it is, isn't it?
Yeah, you've called it by the look of it immediately. Definitely 3 central defenders. When the play settles, we'll see as to what formation and who drops into where for the wing back areas, but certainly Sunderland going with a back 3, 5 out of possession.
Well, that is by a distance the most significant thing that has happened in this match so far. Sunderland 0, Aston Villa 0, but Reinildo sent off, the first Mozambique player to play in the Premier League. So that makes it 127 different countries, and he has become the first Mozambique player to be sent off in the Premier League today. Here is Gesson trying to move in field. Camera now on the edge of the box after Gesson went down. McGinn on the edge of the area, he shoots, that's blocked by Ballard. Bounces out to the left-hand side. Now back to Buendia just outside the box, looking for a return pass from Rodgers. Buendia, this is lovely. Digne as well, and then he takes it to the byline, Buendia. But referee Barrett says in the end it bounces back onto the Villa number 10 and through for a goal kick. But what a move that was.
That's much better by Aston Villa. Immediately you can see they've been given a spark by the sending off. Good interaction, interplay between Buendia and Rodgers on the edge of the box. 2-1-2s almost getting around the edge by Buendia on the left-hand side. Well found by Luca Dean. Buendia puts the ball across with his left boot. Good piece of defending. Actually cannons the ball back at Buendia. Hits the Villa man and goes out for a goal kick. Beautiful move. It's like something off the training ground, wasn't it? It's like something off a five-a-side court. Sunderland 0, Aston Villa 0. Is that still the scoreline at Bournemouth, Andy Stevenson?
It is. We've had a sensible VAR decision here. A David Brooks free kick came in for Bournemouth. It brushed off the top of Dan Burns' head. Definitely hit Sandro Tonali's hand. But Matthew O'Donoghue on VAR this afternoon has seemingly said Tonali knew nothing about it. He was stood just a yard or so behind Burn. It's still Bournemouth 0, Newcastle 0.
Tune across now, Sports Extra. You will hear commentary on that. And likewise, Sports Extra 2, the T20, Stefan Schemmelt.
Might be 2 wickets and 2 balls for England here. Adil Rashid has had Ben Kalitz out for 22, miscuing a sweep shot, and then Barry McCarthy's first ball hasn't picked a googly, hit on the front pad and given LBW. He's reviewed it, but I expect it to be out. Ireland 102 for 7 if this stands after 15.
Sunderland 0, Aston Villa 0. But Villa now, against the 10 men of Sunderland. Now, well, there's always pressure, isn't there, in top-level sport, but now the pressure is really on to come up with this first Premier League goal of the season. Digne curling it into the Sunderland box, that's headed away by Alderete. Comes back out to Camara with his hair flopping all over the place. Plays it out to Digne, comes back to Camara, who was the last man to score a Premier League goal for Aston Villa against Tottenham in May when they won 2-0 at home. Mings curls it into the box. That is headed back by Alderete to goalkeeper Roofs.
Very good piece of defending there by Alderete. Certainly the game's taken on a different stance now. Sunderland very, very defensive. Aston Villa now dominating possession, looking to try and pick holes in this red and white, what will be a defensive wall. Wilson Isidore there, the goalkeeper, goes long. He's not got much support around him. I think half-time can't come quick enough for Sunderland now for the manager to get them in, get them regrouped and put this new tactic and new formation into them.
Still 0-0, and that wicket stands, by the way. So Ireland, as Stefan said. And here's Rodgers on the right-hand side, who goes back into the centre circle. And you've pointed out that Calby has actually ended up as the left wing-back. So Lefay, who was there initially, has now gone into the sort of midfield position alongside Xhaka and Sadiki. Vela playing it in. Konza, Roofs comes, gets a punch on that, comes out to Buendia in the D, with Sunderland players either side of him. On the fall, can only shoot over the angle of post and bar by 5 or 6 yards. Didn't threaten the goal.
No, he makes a mess of that. Roofs causes defenders all kinds of problem. He comes a long way, thinks he's helping out. Ballard's there, he's going to head it away. Roofs ends up taking Ballard out. He does get something on the ball, clears it away. As we're approaching half-time, Villa are certainly in the ascendancy now.
0-0, as has been the score in all 4 Sunderland matches so far at half-time in the Premier League. But with that being the case, only the one of them, their match at Crystal Palace last weekend, has ended up finishing 0-0. Here is Buendia. But Villa now against the 10 men. Back it goes to Mings. Mings ball over the top through the middle. Ballard comes and heads it down and away. Ballard, who scored one of the goals in the opening win here against West Ham, an excellent header, and of course was instrumental in the playoff victory at the end of last season, both in the semi-final and the final. 0-0. Konza going square to Mings. The crowd booing Cash for his part in Reynildo's sending off, which I think is questionable. Digne, then in goes Hume with a challenge on him, wins the ball. Camara, though, is able to collect it again for the black-grey shirts of Aston Villa. Camara down in the Sunderland right-back area is able to play it back up the line, and then it's curled across. McGinn just outside the D. McGinn is quickly closed down by Sadiki, has to go back to Konza, and then Sadiki is herring around madly, putting every Villa player under pressure. But that's what they're going to have to do here with the man disadvantage. Into the penalty area it goes to Rodgers, who tries to pull it down, but it was a bouncing ball, and then a little nudge on Hume, who goes down, wins the free kick, and he gets a cuddle from Mukiele Hume for winning that free kick.
Stadium's eerily quiet, isn't it? Since the sending off, I think there's a lot of Sunderland supporters that were surprised by that, but the atmosphere has absolutely died a death since the sending off from the home fans. I mean, Aston Villa dominating possession. Unai Emery beneath us, trying to get a couple of last-minute instructions onto his players before the half-time. For Sunderland, it's all about getting to half-time. I'm not so sure this back five is something that they'll have played that often. Changed to, obviously, with the sending off. And you say the 0-0, I think they'd probably take that now.
And that's what it is. Sunderland 0, Aston Villa 0, between two of the great clubs of English football. Camara with the ball down in his left back position, played each other to played infield to Rodgers, and in came the challenge from Xhaka on him, but in the end the ball ran out of play for a throw in to Villa, and they go back into the penalty area. 3 minutes of added time at the end of the first half. played each other in an FA Cup final, these two teams. Not yesterday, that was back in 1913 at the old Crystal Palace in front of 122,000 people, when Villa won 1-0 and denied Sunderland a league and cup double that season. Finished first and second in the league, Villa and Sunderland, that season. And one of the major events of that match, that FA Cup final, was that before the match a plot to blow up the grandstand was uncovered. The suffragettes were planning to blow up the grandstand at the FA Cup final, but it was foiled, and everything passed off without incident, as Villa win a free kick over on the left hand side. Ollie Watkins goes down rather easily. Did actually Mukiele get a bit of the ball there? Anyway, it's been given as a free kick.
He's been so quiet, Ollie Watkins, hasn't he? I mean, he's drifted out to the left-hand side there to get involved, but actually that just shows you the lack of service that he's actually had from coming from behind him.
Ollie Watkins then trots over and takes up a position near the penalty spot. So free kick for Villa on the left-hand side. Added time at the end of the first half. One or two spectators beginning to file down the steps in front of us, up here in the top tier of the Jimmy Montgomery stand. But big moment this. Sunderland, everyone back, the 10 men back, defending this free kick from out on the left-hand side, which is swung in by Dina towards the back post, a stretch and away by Alderete, and then he's able to chase after it. Might have fouled McGinn, no free kick, and that pass forward is cut out on the halfway line by Cash, and it's out of play for a throw-in, and Unai Emery gives that hand signal, palms out in front of him, moving his hands up and down, just telling his players just to take their time here. And apparently so far only Dan Ballard, who's just come on, has had fewer touches than Ollie Watkins. Throw-in taken by Sunderland, and that is given as a free kick. Sadiki, after he was fouled, so a free kick just in front of the Sunderland technical area. Free kick to be taken by Granit Xhaka.
They're going to make the most of these opportunities, Sunderland. They're going to put the three centre-backs forward. Long, direct set plays, maybe their route to goal.
Yep, very high Villa line, as we've seen before. Xhaka curls it in, good delivery that. Headed goalwards by Ballard on the edge of the area, but didn't threaten the goal, bounced well wide. And Martinez was able to come out and pick up. Sunderland 0, Aston Villa 0, still Bournemouth 0, Newcastle 0. We've got Arsenal against Manchester City to come. Don't miss that on 5 Live from 4:30. Guessand now. Time for one more Villa attack. Matty Cash being booed for his part in the Reynildo sending off, and then John McGinn has Isidore land on top of him. Villa continue. Guessand in the box on the right, pulls it across, but straight at Roofs, who's able to drop down on it and catch the ball, gather it into his chest. Under-armoured out. That still we play. We are in the 3rd minute of added time. There is still time to play. And here's Talby. Crossfield pass from him, but I think he's going to give it away. He has. It's headed forward to Buendia through the middle. Sunderland could be stretched here. Buendia playing it, over hitting it for Watkins, and it runs away beyond the England man and through for a goal kick. 0-0. Paul Robinson.
Yeah, both managers have got big half-time team talks coming up. Obviously the Sunderland manager, it's going to be about organisation, the back five, how they play this game. It'll be about staying in the game for as long as they can. Try and get chances up the other end, whether it be set plays, long throws, whatever it may be. Be defensively solid, be defensively sound, and stay in the game. But for Aston Villa, we're talking about a team, we keep going on about this team that's not scored a goal. They're now going to face a team that are going to set up in the second half, defensively, trying not to let them score a goal. Sunderland are going to have the back five, the midfield in front, and they're going to make it very, very difficult for a team that are already struggling in front of goal.
Yes, and there is the half-time whistle, which causes people to stand up down in front of us en masse and think about what they're going to do at half-time. 46,000 odd people inside the Stadium of Light, and for the 5th time this season, Paul, Sunderland have reached half-time in a Premier League match, and there have been no goals. But the most significant development really in terms of the match, the Reynildo sending off after he pushed a boot into the midriff of Matty Cash when he was lying on the floor. So 0-0 it is at half-time. Sunderland 0, Aston Villa 0. Steve.
Thank you very much, chaps. We'll be back with you, obviously, for second half commentary. Half-time whistle's just gone at Bournemouth as well. Andy Stevenson.
It has, just this very second, Steve, as you join me. Goalless at the break. Bournemouth have had the best of it against the much-changed Newcastle team. Tyler Adams had a drilled shot saved by the leg of Nick Pope early on after great work by David Brooks. Brooks himself then had a goal disallowed for offside, just standing beyond the last man as Evan Nielsen put the ball on a plate for him. And a Brooks free kick also deflected off the head of Dan Burn onto the hand of Sandro Tonali inside the penalty area, but the officials agreed that the Italian knew nothing about it. At the other end, Jacob Murphy had an effort saved at close range by Petrovic. It's Bournemouth 0, Newcastle 0.
Right, before second half commentary from the Stadium of Light on 5 Live and the Vitality on 5 Sports Extra will be at Lee Sports Village. Manchester United Arsenal about to get underway in the WSL. 3 o'clock kick-off in the Championship, Bristol City against Oxford United, and there's a 3:30 Scottish League Cup quarter-final, Partick Thistle against Celtic. You will hear about all of those games, and we'll make our first trip to the Emirates today ahead of 4:30 Arsenal Manchester City in full on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. We'll do all of that after the news with Bethan Holmes.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Sir Keir Starmer has announced in the last hour the UK's recognition of a Palestinian state in a video statement.
This solution is not a reward for Hamas because it means Hamas can have no future, no role in government, no role in security. We have already prescribed and sanctioned Hamas, and we will go further. I have directed work to sanction other Hamas figures in the coming weeks. Meanwhile, the man-made humanitarian crisis in Gaza reaches new depths. The Israeli government's relentless and increasing bombardment of Gaza, the offensive of recent weeks, the starvation and devastation are utterly intolerable. Tens of thousands have been killed, including thousands as they tried to collect food and water. This death and destruction horrifies all of us. It must end. We have evacuated the first group of sick and injured children to the United Kingdom to be treated by the NHS, and we continue to increase our humanitarian support. But still, nowhere near enough aid is getting through. We call again on the Israeli government to lift the unacceptable restrictions at the border, stop these cruel tactics, and let the aid surge in. With the actions of Hamas, the Israeli government escalating the conflict, and settlement building being accelerated in the West Bank, the hope of a two-state solution is fading. But we cannot let that light go out. That is why we are building consensus with leaders in the region and beyond around our framework for peace. This is a practical plan to bring people together behind a common vision and a series of steps, including the reform of the Palestinian Authority, that takes us from a ceasefire in Gaza to negotiations on a two-state solution. We will keep driving this forward. As part of this effort, I set out in July the terms upon which we would act in line with our manifesto to recognise Palestinian statehood. That moment has now arrived. So today, to revive the hope of peace and a two-state solution, I state clearly, as Prime Minister of this great country, that the United Kingdom formally recognises the state of Palestine.
Sir Keir also called on Hamas to release the hostages still held in Gaza. In a statement, the families of British hostage families say they remain concerned about the timing of the announcement and say it could delay a ceasefire. Well, the UK has today joined Canada and Australia, who've also in the last hour recognised a Palestinian state. In response, the Israeli government says they will fight both at the UN and in other arenas against what they call the false propaganda directed at them and the calls to establish a Palestinian state, which they say would endanger its existence and constitute an absurd reward for terrorism. For more on this story, you can follow the BBC's live page over on the BBC News website.
Radio 1
Dance. Your destination for non-stop dance.
with huge DJ sets
And massive dance bangers. In their mix. All day, every day.
And you just don't stop.
24/7 Dance Energy.
On Radio 1 Dance.
Listen on your smart speaker.
On BBC Sounds.
And now on DAB+.
This is 5 Live Sports with Steve Crossman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
It's Sunderland 0, Aston Villa 0, half-time in the Premier League. Sunderland down to 10 men, though. Second half commentary on the way on 5 Live, on 5 Sports Extra. Half-time, Bournemouth 0, Newcastle 0. There's one game in the Championship this afternoon, which is Bristol City, Oxford United. Kicks off in 6 minutes. Aaron Paul.
Yeah, it's unbeaten Bristol City who welcome winless Oxford to a gorgeously sunny Ashton Gate. Gerhard Stubeside could go second with a win today, and he goes unchanged from the side that beat Sheffield Wednesday last time out. It's been a tough start to the campaign though for Oxford. Gary Rowett confirming pre-game Matt Phillips is expected to be out for a lengthy period of time. That because of a quad injury. He says his side aren't taking any notice of the noise outside of the club. Back-to-back draws with Coventry and Leicester have shown that they can compete at this level. This will be a different test though. We go, as you say, at 3 o'clock.
At 3:30, it's Partick Thistle Celtic in the quarter-finals of the Scottish League Cup. Gavin Wallace.
Yeah, good afternoon, Steve. A warm welcome to this part of Glasgow, sun-kissed as it is right now. And this is a rerun, actually, of the 1971-72 season match, the cup final that year. Partick Thistle won that 4-1. So much so it was unbelievable, or nobody believed it. The BBC actually checked it and put it out wrong. So we'll see what happens today. Partick Thistle make 2 changes as the likes of Josh Clark and Ben McPherson drop to the bench. Their Celtic players, Bandanauskas and Logan come in. And for Celtic, there's no Schmeichel. Sinisalo starts, and Iniacho starts as well.
In the WSL, full times for you. Brighton 4, West Ham 1 and Chelsea 1, Leicester 0. Just underway in Manchester United Arsenal. Sani Rudravajula.
Both sides with their shooting boots this season. 5-1 victories in WSL. Play 2, 1-2 for United. A 3-0 win in the week over Brann has taken them to the Champions League for the first time. That after overturning a 1-0 deficit, where their boots actually got lost in transit on the way to Norway. 3 changes for United, 2 for Arsenal. 8-goal Elizabeth Turlin's on the bench for United, and so is Beth Mead for Arsenal. 6 minutes gone, United looking brighter so far, 0-0.
There was due to be another game in the WSL this afternoon, which would have been Aston Villa versus Liverpool, but it was cancelled because of the awful news that we learned last night, the death of the former Liverpool and Chelsea women's head coach Matt Beard at the age of 47. We've been speaking to Farrah Williams, who won successive WSL titles at Liverpool under Matt Beard, and she told us about his impact on her life and career.
He was more than a manager, a great mentor for me, a great friend. Somebody that saw maybe potential in me that maybe I didn't see myself when I had difficult periods outside of football. He was there. He was like an older brother. You know, we had laughs together, similar humour, just somebody that cared about everybody else.
I mean, look, we can talk about him as a manager, but actually what the sense I'm getting just from reading the tributes is whatever you were, if you were involved in the women's football community, if you played under him, if he was the opposing manager, or if he was just someone you crossed paths with, everybody just seems to see him as one of the good guys, as someone with so much warmth. Absolutely.
I think, you know, the warmth he gave people whenever he came into contact with him, I think that was something that was special about him. Always greeted you with a hello, darling. That was his line. A warm hug. He's seen everybody as the same. He never had judgment of people. And as I said, you know, win, lose or draw, and in difficult pressure moments as we have as you know, sports people, he would never shy away from giving people his time. And yeah, just a special guy. I wish he was here to see and feel that from all of us, because he was one of a kind, and he had, you know, the purest of souls.
Was he one of those people who maybe didn't realise just how loved he was as a coach? You know, sometimes the best coaches are the ones who are so humble.
Yeah, maybe. And maybe he spent all of his time making sure everybody around him felt that from him. You know, he gave a lot of love. He gave a lot of, you know, attention to people. And, you know, he gave opportunities when people thought they were down and out. He was the guy that would find a space for them. And I'm sure, you know, if you've read a lot of the girls that played under him or was given an opportunity, or even, you know, put in the shop window from him, he would do his utmost to give you that opportunity. You know, working class man, Del Boy, we used to call him. You know, he could sell anything. Yeah, he was a great guy. And as I said, he was somebody that, even for me, when I signed for Liverpool, you know, he said to me after signing, if I'd have listened to what people said about you and didn't take it at face value, I would have never met the friend that I did. So yeah, he was somebody that he was non-judgmental, took people on face value. And as I said, outside of him as a coach, he was a fantastic friend. And, you know, when he spoke to him recently about, you know, his job at Burnley, and he was really excited about starting that. But yeah, he was just, as I said, he was a guy that absolutely adored his family. They meant the world to him, and secondly, football, and that was his life.
It's really hard, I can only imagine, to try to put into words not only what he meant to you and what he meant to everybody who played under him, but also what he did for the women's game. You know, that's one thing that really comes through from all of the messages I've seen on social media, the impact he had to help the WSL and women's football get to where it is now.
Yeah, and very few of them, you know, probably can name on two hands, you know, the important people that was in the women's game right from the beginning, that cared about it, that, you know, were advocates for the women's game, that really tried to drive and push the game on into a position that is in today, you know, working hard behind the scenes, you know, juggling jobs to give, you know, us as women, when we were a little bit younger, the opportunity, you know, to train and play, and giving up their time, you know, for at times voluntary, you know, in order to give us an opportunity to represent the teams that we did. So, yeah, he was somebody that, as I said, he cared, you know, massively about the women's game, and was there from the beginning. Once he got an opportunity in the game, you know, he was fully focused on really trying to drive and get the game to where it is now. And I'm sure, you know, he would be proud of where the game's at now, and his part he played in that.
Is care the thing, do you think, above all else, that made him such a great coach for you?
Yeah, and you've heard me mention it a few times, that he cared about the game, he cared about where we could take the game, he cared about people, maybe a little bit more than he cared about himself, because he was somebody that just gave love to everybody, gave attention and time. And I think that's something that you can't buy. You can't buy somebody's time and investment. And that's something that he did with a lot of us, me in particular. And I'm forever grateful for what he did for me.
Really powerful tribute there from Farrah Williams, who played under Matt Beard at Liverpool, won 2 WSL titles under him. Matt Beard, who tragically died last night at the age of 47, and that is why the Aston Villa-Liverpool game in the Women's Super League earlier today was cancelled. It is still Manchester United 0, Arsenal 0, 11 minutes gone in the WSL. So we'll be keeping you up to date with what's going on in the Championship. Bristol City and Oxford United just underway. And the Scottish League Cup quarter-final, Partick Thistle versus Celtic. Very shortly we'll be taking you back to the Stadium of Light. Sunderland, Aston Villa, second half commentary on the way. On 5 Sports Extra, it will be Bournemouth versus Newcastle United. At the moment, both of those games still goalless. Then on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, we're off to the Emirates, 4:30 in full. Arsenal versus Manchester City. Ian Dennis is there for a mammoth game. Ian, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Steve. Yes, looking forward to it. Not too sure what to expect, but Arsenal obviously have that key advantage, having played the extra 2 days rest that they've had to recover from their Champions League exertions in midweek. Obviously Manchester City played on Thursday night, and you think from a Manchester City point of view already they've suffered 2 defeats in the top flight, and with Liverpool setting a very strong pace at the top of the table, for Manchester City, should they lose here today, they then find themselves 9 points behind the leaders and champions Liverpool.
Do you think we've got a better idea in the short time we've had this season about where Arsenal are going to be because of the way they've performed than we do about Manchester City, who we've sort of seen a bit of everything from?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think from an Arsenal point of view, and I know he got heavily criticised for the defeat at Liverpool, but it was a Szoboszlai stunning free kick that separated the two sides. They're the only side in the Premier League this season who are yet to concede from open play. So defensively they've got a solid foundation. We know he's talked about his finishers rather than the starters. They've got the strength in depth that they possibly didn't have last season as well. So yeah, I would agree with that statement.
Thank you, Ian. Ian Dennis, who'll be bringing you full commentary from the Emirates. Arsenal, Manchester City, 4:30 with Rob Green. Ian, who was mentioned by Paul Robinson earlier as being one of the reasons he loves listening to 5 Live. Mentioned John Murray as well, the brilliant John Murray. Also mentioned Ali Bruce Ball. Leave anyone out, Paul, or are you happy with that?
No, you're okay, Steve. Every now and then.
me?
I like listening to their podcast, that's what it is. It's the new BBC Sounds that I'm all into, you see. But it's not new, is it? It's just me that's new to it, I think.
Right, head over to 5 Sports Extra for Bournemouth Newcastle second half here on 5 Live. Sunderland Villa with Paul and John Murray.
Yes, thank you, Steve. That is the choice. Bournemouth Newcastle 0-0. That's on Sports Extra. Sunderland 0-0 with Aston Villa. This is on 5 Live. The Villa players just being booed out. Can't see any change of personnel. Sunderland have got the same 10 that ended the first half. Reinildo, the Mozambique left back, sent off just past the half hour. So we're about to see the kick-off. I've had a message, Mark, from Paul, from Mark Bright, our long-time colleague as a summariser, who says that Graham Taylor, another old colleague, told Andy Gray, Crystal Palace Andy Gray, when he was playing for England, when he was making his England debut, to kick the ball out of play as close to the corner flag as possible. And when he was asked why, he was told they'll have 10 players on the pitch and we'll have a man advantage. So that was back in Graham Taylor's day. So thanks very much to Mark Bright for that. That does indeed show that there is nothing new, is there? And it's Villa who get the second half underway here in the bright sunshine. So Sunderland, as they ended the first half, with Roofs in goal, the 3 central defenders, Mukiele, Ballard the substitute, and Alderete, with Hume and Calby as the wing-backs, then Xhaka, Lefay and Siddiqui in midfield, Isidore up front, and that after the sending off of Reinildo. And Villa with McGinn, their captain, carrying the ball forward, attacking towards the end of the Stadium of Light where their fans are. Buendia in the penalty area, but his cross is blocked by Mukiele. Buendia is able to get there first in the full-back position, play it back to Digne. McGinn swirls one in. Villa still looking for their first Premier League goal of this new season, lifted into the box, but then volleyed away by Hume. And there's a Villa man down. Rodgers is down inside the penalty area. He's limped to his feet. Villa have had a look, thought about putting it out of play. They've not done that. Digne then to Buendia again, and the Argentine turns and faces the action in his orange boots, plays it back to McGinn, lifts one in nicely. It's over the top of Watkins, cleared away by Calby, edge of the penalty area, angle back into the box. That's cleared away by Talby, comes out to McGinn. Villa starting strongly. McGinn's going for goal from 35 yards, but it sails away wide and high into all of those red and white striped shirts behind the goal for a goal kick. So, Paul, Sunderland with the team that I mentioned, Villa, Martinez in goal, Cash, Konza, Mings and Digne, Camara and McGinn, Gesson, Buendia, Rodgers and Watkins.
The key for Aston Villa in the second half is going to be how quickly they move the ball and how quickly they move the ball forward. Possession's not going to be a problem for them. They're going to dominate that in the second half, but it's what they do and how quickly they move the ball with speed. Don't allow Sunderland to get set in a defensive position.
Oh, here's it all, putting Mings under pressure inside the penalty area and forced Mings to rather hurriedly clear it out of play, and he's fallen awkwardly in the 6-yard box. I think Isidore fell on top of him as well. And Mings has not yet climbed to his feet, and there are some concerned teammates there just having a look, and he did fall awkwardly, fell down face first onto both knees, but I think he's okay. He's back on his feet. That's good to see.
Yeah, he looked in full control of the situation, got himself goal side. We know he's got a lot of pace still. Tyrone Mings gets himself goal side, deals with the danger. I think it was more the fall rather than the coming together.
It's just after that long time out that he had with the knee injury, 14 months it was, that you're always slightly concerned in those circumstances. Long throw for Sunderland, then as a result headed away, and then Talby volleys it goalwards, but didn't threaten the goal, high over the top by 6 or 7 yards, and it's a goal kick to Aston Villa, and it remains Sunderland 0, Aston Villa 0, still Bournemouth 0, Newcastle 0. What about the latest in Malahide at the T20? Stefan Schemmelt is monitoring it.
Ireland have posted 154 for 8, helped by Gareth Delaney's late 48 not out. 3 wickets for Adil Rashid, 2 for Jamie Overton and Liam Dawson. Another tough day for Sonny Baker. He recorded most expensive figures on ODI debut for England earlier this month. Now it's the 3rd most expensive figures on T20 debut. No wicket for 52. England need 155 to win the match and the series.
And you can hear the commentary on Sports Extra 2, which is only available on the BBC Sounds app. 0-0 here, and Buendia, rather clumsy challenge on Mukiele, who was withdrawing the challenge and succeeded in winning a free kick and celebrated it a little bit like a goal. Got up, looked at the Jimmy Montgomery stand, threw his arms in the air, everybody cheered, free kick to Sunderland.
And that's what they're going to have to build on. They're going to have to rely on the home supporters as well to get behind them. They've got a free kick here, 10-15 yards inside their own half. Goalkeeper Roof's come forward to take it, and these are the opportunities they're going to take to put the central defenders forward and go very long.
Sunderland 0, Aston Villa 0. Ball from the free kick, headed on by Ballard. Mings is there with his right foot, volley it out of play. With the 10 men, were able to win this. What a victory, what a confidence booster this would be for Sunderland. Playing, well, it'll be round about an hour with 10 men. And Villa, fragile confidence. This goal has not yet come. They've created relatively little, really, in the match so far. One big chance. Throw in for Sunderland. Mukiele takes it. Headed away, bounces on the edge of the area. Xhaka back out to the left-hand side. In comes the cross from Mukiele. Goalkeeper comes Martinez, doesn't get there. Defenders are there. Headed away by Cash. Mukiele across. Ball headed goal, it hits the bar! Alderete with the header, struck the crossbar, bounced down, stayed out. Villa put it behind for a corner.
Oh, the importance of set plays, and once again it comes from the long throw. It's cleared by Aston Villa. Tyrone Mings almost heads it out of his own goalkeeper's hands. The ball comes back into the box, and Alderete gets his head on it, and it clears Emi Martinez. Loops up and over him, but it's a looping header. It loops on top of the bar.
Volume is ramped up inside the Stadium of Light here. Xhaka with a corner, over everyone and beyond the far post. Ballard leaping for it, couldn't get there, and it's behind for a goal kick. Well, there we are. The 10 men almost took the lead.
And it's set plays, isn't it? It's what they're looking for. Longer balls into areas where they can win throw-ins, they can win free kicks, corner kicks, and then they will put the emphasis on that in the second half and look for that as their route to getting something out of this game.
Villa, in their 5th match of the Premier League season, still looking for their first league goal. Thought we might see Elliott at half-time, but not yet. Paul?
When you look at the options that he's got, he has got options on the bench. He's got Marlon, Sancho, Elliott. He has got players on there that can create. But I think the players on the pitch, they haven't really given everything that he would want from them. I mean, it's been slow, it's been pedestrian-like, it's been methodical. Actually, it's about moving these players out of position. If they are to break through this red and white wall, what it is at the moment, they're going to have to move the ball quicker. Sunderland are quite happy at the moment. They're sat in a really good defensive shape. Everything that Villa are doing is in front of them, and they can control that.
Sunderland 0, Aston Villa 0. But Villa in possession. Sunderland sitting off Unai Emery's team at the moment. Ball on the right-hand side. The cross to the back post, which is headed up and away by Mukiele. The cross swung in from the right flank and deflected behind for a corner from the left that Buendia is quickly across to take. Buendia raises his left arm. It's going to be a right-footed, in-swinging delivery. Roofs has Tyrone Mings bothering him. In it comes, Roofs goes for it, then goes back, and it's over everyone inside the penalty area. Needed the better delivery. Low fives all around in the Sunderland defence. And it's a goal kick for the home side, 0-0.
Do you know what, the team spirit that they've come out with, Sunderland, the togetherness, the 1 or 2 tackles that they've flown into, players trying to turn around and get the crowd involved in the game. Slowing the game down now, Roofs, as you can imagine, taking time with his goal kick. The way that they've started this second half, you can see a way that they could actually come away from this with a 0-0. Villa haven't offered anything to this point during the game, even with the man extra. It's Sunderland that had the better chance in the second half.
Yeah, and for that reason, the Villa anxiety will continue to grow because they've not created. There was the chance in the first half, which was a very good chance for Guessant. What was he, maybe 10 yards out, if that. But shot straight at Roofs, who was able to make the save, and Sunderland coming forward. over on the left-hand side with Talby, who takes it on and gets a little touch, and it's out of play for a throw into Sunderland down the left. 0-0 here. Is it still 0-0? Bournemouth-Newcastle as well, Andy Stevenson?
It is still goalless. A bit of drama though in the last few moments. Nick Voltemada, who scored on his Newcastle debut last weekend, has just gone down in the area, claiming he was pulled back by Diakite. Referee Rob Jones waved play on. VAR saw no reason to change that decision. Voltemada was slamming the pitch with both hands in frustration. It remains Bournemouth 0, Newcastle 0.
That's on Sports Extra right now. Sunderland Aston Villa is here on 5 Live. Long throw for Sunderland because problems with their last one, but that Mukiele doesn't take it yet because Ballard has ended up on the ground in the box, the substitute who came on shortly after Reinildo was sent off. I'm not sure what's happened in there. I'm not sure whatever's happened justified Ballard dropping to the ground.
No, they were all waiting for the long throw-in to come in at the near post. Morgan Rogers is in there, Tyrone Mings, Matty Cash. There's a gathering of bodies all in the near post. Emi Martinez is coming off his goal line to join in. Sunderland are just trying to make it a mess. They're just trying to make it an absolute bun fight in there, and they're doing well.
Right, here comes the latest move in the bun fight. Mukiele's throw into the near post, headed away, comes back to Mukiele, who controls that rather awkwardly, but then as well, and wins a corner off Gessan. And again, Mukiele's at it, on his feet, waving his arms up in the air, the Frenchman. And a corner to Sunderland from the left.
And you can see they're not even in a rush to take this. They've got the momentum at the moment, Sunderland. They've got their tails up, but actually they're just taking the time, walking out to take the set play, filling the box up. Aston Villa choosing not to mark man-to-man. One or two are marking man-to-man. Zonely for the rest, but there's a big group of Sunderland players at the back of that 6-yard box. We're going to see one straight off the training ground here.
Trey Hume, the young Northern Ireland captain in the recent World Cup qualifiers. The right back to take the corner. Hume's corner deep to the back post. Martinez stayed on his line. I thought he was coming. He then went back, and it took a flick off a Villa head. It's a corner from the other side, and Sunderland, despite the one-man disadvantage, are really putting pressure on Villa here with the set pieces. The referee Sam Barrett just speaking there to Enzo Lefebvre, who came to him. I think there might have been half a shout that might have come off an arm, but I'm not saying that. It's a corner from the right, in swinger Xhaka, Martinez challenge, no free kick, and Villa scrambling away. Then the whistle has gone. I thought that surely had to be a free kick. Martinez was being buffeted by players on either side. He's gone down. 2 of the Villa players are on the ground as well. One of them's in the back of the net. So I think a free kick for all of that was almost inevitable.
Goalkeepers get far too much protection. They're overprotected. Every time they come off the line, they seem to get a free kick. But Martinez got absolutely smashed.
On this occasion,
Ballard just eyes on the ball. He comes right across Emi Martinez. Martinez has got his eyes fixed on the ball. Always difficult for a goalkeeper when you've got 2 arms in the air. You've got no stability as you're jumping. Martinez eyes on the ball, just about to catch the ball. Ballard comes across him, absolutely wallops him, the ball, Tyrone Mings, everything into the back of the Villa net. That could have been 3 free kicks.
Yeah. Ballard. That's a bit like running into a bollard. Rain has delayed the start to England's innings at the T20 in Dublin. Double change for Villa. I'm sure Villa fans will have been calling for this. Well, now they're going to get it. Harvey Elliott is coming on for his 3rd appearance for Aston Villa. 2 substitute appearances in the Premier League. So Harvey Elliott is on. Digne is coming off, and Ian Maatsen coming on as well. So Maatsen for Digne and Harvey Elliott for Buendia. So the double change. See if that's going to bring the goal.
Harvey Elliott got one in midweek, didn't he? He's got number 9 on his back. Can't imagine it's going to be much of a formation change. Maatsen will be a straight swap for Luca Dean. Elliott will drop in behind Watkins. Just offers a little bit more creativity. I think Buendia and Gesson and Rodgers as well, to an extent, that all 3 of them have struggled to get into the game and really be any type of creative player today.
Yes, Harvey Elliott, one of the Premier League winners with Liverpool last season. It is a loan move, but very much with a view to a permanent move for around about £35 million, and obviously Villa restricted by the profit and sustainability rules. So no Jadon Sancho yet, and Ian Maatsen coming on as the left back. Those the first changes that Villa have made. Sunderland 0, Aston Villa 0. Going to get the team news from Arsenal, Manchester City in a moment, but Villa are on the attack. Ian Dennis is standing by at the Emirates, but Maatsen forward towards Rodgers. Rodgers with the cross towards the back post, but that's headed away by Alderete. Comes out Isidore. I think he might have been fouled. He was by Ezri Konsa. Free kick to Sunderland. So come in from London, Ian Dennis. Are you there, Mr. Ian Dennis?
For Mascara.
Hello, Ian. Sorry, we missed the start of that. Just give us that again.
Sorry, 2 changes. Saliba for Mascara for Arsenal. Trossard starts instead of Eza. White and Saka are back on the bench for Arsenal. But Manchester City, for a 3rd successive game, are unchanged. John Stones is among their substitutes.
Well, that is debatable, isn't it? 3 matches in the week. The Manchester derby, the Italian champions on Thursday night, and then away at Arsenal. Unchanged again. I know there's a lengthy injury list.
With 2 days less preparation as well.
Yeah.
Arsenal playing Tuesday night in Bilbao.
Yep. As Villa have got a free kick off inside their own half. Yes, you've gone from red and white stripes in Bilbao to red and white stripes in Sunderland this week, haven't you?
Well, it was certainly a lot warmer in Bilbao to wear red and white stripes than it is here in Sunderland today, put it that way.
Sunderland 0, Villa 0. So it was a great point you made as well during the commentary. 2-0 down to Arsenal in the latter stages, that no one was leaving that stadium.
The togetherness and the unity of the players of that team and the supporters is incredible. A really special place, and like I say, those of you who like to travel around the grounds, and it's not one that you actually think of. It's a real treat of a place to go to. The city and the stadium and the football club.
Sunderland 0, Aston Villa 0. Still Bournemouth 0, Newcastle 0. They're underway in the day's match in the Championship. In fact, they're more than underway. We'll go to Aaron Poor in the moment. The Villa on the attack. Ball played back. Elliott with a shot, but that's deflected wide. Thought it might have hit Rodgers. No, it hit the defender. Xhaka it was inside his own box. It's a corner to Villa. But first, Aaron Paul.
Bristol City 0, Oxford 1. Great header from Nick Prelec. Ball in from the right-hand side from the free kick. And this is just the most powerful darting header from Prelec. It's his first goal in English football. It's Bristol City 0, Oxford 1.
Villa with a corner from the right into the near post. Gassan flicks it on. That was blocked by Muki Ali. Well defended behind it. Then Elliott for Villa plays it over the top, but beyond everyone, whether in red and white or in black and grey, and it's through for a goal kick. And we're into the last half hour, Paul Robinson. Still Sunderland 0, Villa 0, and Sunderland with the 10 men.
And we're watching a team in Sunderland who are going to be defensively very resolute. They've been set out now in the second half to be extremely hard to beat, to be difficult to get through. The defending as a unit, they're not taking any chances. Those short goal kicks that maybe they played in the first half, everything's going long. They're going to play in the areas, they're going to play high up the field, look for set plays, look for throw-ins, and an opportunity to try and get Villa at the stalemate. We know Villa, we talk about their lack of creativity.
And Sunderland have won it back on the halfway line as Villa were looking to come forward. It's played back to Xhaka. Then Talbi does receive it. It actually bounced off Cash to Talbi. That was a little fortunate. Still Talbi, then back in field. Sadiki for Sunderland is able to take it on into the penalty area, to the byline, and then in comes the challenge to block it behind for what is given as a corner. The sliding challenge from Camera. Well, he's wagging his finger at the referee, but referee Barrett says no, corner Sunderland.
Sadiki does so well there. From deep, ball into him from Xhaka, into the left wing back. Talbi puts it into his path, drives into the box. Sadiki, and when he gets in the box, he knows that nobody can touch him. The Aston Villa defenders are around him, but they know they can't put a tackle in. Camera it is in the end, who eventually slides across, gives Sunderland yet another corner kick.
Camera, who's tied his hair up at half-time.
I thought that. I just had to look at my team sheet.
Corner to Sunderland. In it comes, referee says no, wait. Hume played it in, and the referee spotted, I think he's shown a yellow card to Dan Ballard. So he's given them the warning not to misbehave following a set piece, and he blew the whistle before the corner was taken, and he's shown a yellow card to Ballard for persistent fouling.
Tell you what, looking at the replays, he's done nothing. He's done absolutely nothing. It's Maatsen that's got two arms around Ballard, I mean, I think that's potentially for the one earlier that he absolutely crunched Martinez that the referee missed.
Possibly. It was debatable. Here's the corner then, into the back post, headed across by Mukiele, a flick up over the top of the Villa crossbar from Isidore, and it is safely behind for a goal kick, and it remains 0-0. And it has to be said, with the 10 men, Sunderland have threatened as much as, and in fact more than, Villa.
Well, you can look exactly what the manager said to them at half-time. Defensively solid, stable, play long balls into the channels, into areas where we're going to get set plays, and we can cause Aston Villa problems from set plays, which is exactly what they've done. Every time that the ball goes into this Aston Villa penalty box, Sunderland look dangerous.
Villa at 0-0 are in danger of equalling an unwanted club record, which would be 6 league matches in a row without scoring a goal. But here they come, Maatsen into the penalty area, his ball across, that's cleared away, stabbed away by the right foot of Valderrete, the Paraguayan, and it's been deflected out for... or was that given as a free kick? Was it an offside? Yes, it was an offside, so it's a free kick to... Maatsen must have strayed offside as the ball was played through. Sunderland 0, Aston Villa 0. Still Bournemouth 0, Newcastle 0. Maatsen, actually. Now, the instructions are suggesting that it was Maatsen, not Ballard, who was yellow carded. So presumably the Sunderland players must have been saying, well, if that's a foul and a yellow card, why is it not a penalty?
But as you correctly pointed out, John,
but the whistle, he'd blown the whistle, so play was not active at the time. So it is a yellow card for Maatsen for the challenge. It did look like that, didn't it, on the replay, that he was fouling Ballard?
Certainly did, but I think when the referee initially pulled out the yellow card, it immediately looked like the Sunderland players were protesting, saying, why have I been booked? And actually it wasn't, it was Maatsen that was booked correctly.
Yeah, and Sunderland's players saying, why is that not a penalty? 20 minutes gone in the second half. Sunderland 0, Aston Villa 0. Here is Maatsen. Maatsen infield towards McGinn, then back to Rodgers. Rodgers rolls it back to McGinn, and then Rodgers again. Maatsen back for Rodgers, but that was all hit, and that was an uncompromising challenge by Hume, who went to ground, took the ball and took Rodgers as well, who's been left in a heap. The still relatively New England international, as they say in this part of the world, he kicked him up a height.
We talk about going back in time with this set plays, the long balls and the throw-ins. There's one of the challenges. Hume's just absolutely lumped Morgan Rodgers. It's one of them, he's kicked the ball and he's kicked through and taken Rodgers. It's a proper old-fashioned challenge.
Camera, square, Cash is going to shoot, he does, and he scores! Roofs couldn't keep it out through a crowd of players, got his hands to it, but it found the back of the net, and Matty Cash from 25 yards has finally scored Villa's first Premier League goal of the season. They're 1-0 up and they are celebrating, and why not? Sunderland 0, Aston Villa 1.
It's a wonderful hit when the ball comes out to Matty Cash, but it really should be stopped by Robin Roofs in the goal. Corner kick from Aston Villa, it gets cleared to Matty Cash, 25-30 yards out, and you're thinking from a Sunderland point of view, go on then, you won't test the keeper from that type of distance. As the ball's rode to Cash, decent first touch, and there is a little bit of a waist swing on it when he strikes it. Looking at the replay, he cuts across the ball and it drifts from left to right across the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper closes his hands and makes two fists. Never like it when a goalkeeper does that. Open your palms, you've got a bigger surface. Open your palms and you push the ball away. Roofs has made two fists and he's made a real mess of it. Aston Villa and Matty Cash don't care. They're 1-0 up and they've got their first goal of the season.
So there we are. The dry spell is over in the Premier League for Aston Villa. It's lasted from spring until autumn. It's lasted from the 16th of May to today, the 21st of September. And finally, Aston Villa are on the score sheet again in the Premier League. And Sunderland, with 10 men, are now up against it to get anything out of this match. It is only 1-0. And listen, they have caused problems for Villa in the second half, but how much will they take? Huge amounts, you would think, from finally scoring. And now Guessant to Matty Cash. As I mentioned in the first half, he is one of the Villa players who has scored this season with the two that he has got for Poland this month. on international duty, and there we are. He hit it well enough, but as you say, Paul, your old position, Roofs will certainly feel that he should have kept it out.
Yeah, you can see the movement on the ball as he's hit it. You can imagine it, can't you? As players cut across the ball started out from Matty Cash's point of view to the left, and then it swung right in front of the goalkeeper and gone across him, but it's not moved that far. The ball's gone, 2 yards, 3 yards off centre. Goalkeeper's there, he's covered it, and what he's done is he's clenched his fists. Instead of having his palms open, he's clenched his fists, tried to punch at the ball, completely missed it. And for all we've waxed lyrical about Robin Roofs and his performances thus far this season for Sunderland, that was an error.
Sunderland 0, Aston Villa 1, Matty Cash the goal scorer. And that is Matty Cash as well. If you remember from Tuesday night, it was his penalty that was saved at the end of the shootout that won the cup tie, the Carabao Cup tie against Brentford. That's sport for you, isn't it? That's football. Tuesday night, he'll have felt terrible, and here he's got the goal that Villa have been waiting for.
Listen, let's not mislead anybody. Sunderland, even with 10 men, have been a better team, haven't they?
And actually, Xhaka now, edge of the area, shoots left-footed but straight at Martinez, and he didn't catch that as he would have wanted to. It was mis-hit straight at the goalkeeper.
Yeah, don't rule Sunderland out for trying to get back into this game the way that they've played in the second half. Even with 10 men, they've posed the biggest threat, they've had the best opportunities, and until the goal, Matty Cash's unbelievable strike that threw a dummy to the goalkeeper, if you like, they didn't look like scoring. And Aston Villa, they haven't looked like scoring the whole game. It was going to take something like that to break the deadlock.
Sunderland 0, Aston Villa 1. It is still Bournemouth 0, Newcastle 0, Bristol City 0, Oxford United 1, as Isidore is sent sprawling, and the referee says it's only a throw-in to Aston Villa, further enraging the home supporters. The League Cup quarter-final will be underway about now. Partick Thistle against Celtic, so we'll keep you updated on that. And match of the day for the highlights tonight, Theo Walcott and Shay Given are with Mark Chapman on BBC One, and the Women's Football Show after that. Chris Sutton is here at this match for one of his other paymasters. He'll be with Robbie Savage later for 6:06 after the Arsenal-Manchester City game. Another win for Forest Green yesterday. Villa leading here by 1-0.
No early substitutions yesterday.
Not that I'm aware of. Not a quadruple first-minute substitution.
Mr. Loophole.
Mr. Loophole. That's a good one. Yeah, I should suggest that to Chris if we see him after the match. Doniel Marlin is also being prepared for Aston Villa. Way down in front of us, the Perspex topped dugouts at the Stadium of Light. So despite that, we can still see Austin McPhee's long blonde hair. I think it's longer than ever. It's a free kick to Villa, halfway inside their own half. Plays it back to Martinez, across to Tyrone Mings. And this for Villa now. They've got the 1 goal, they're in front. Oh, and that's a good challenge by Hume on Rodgers. Comes back to Rodgers, who gets to his feet, then goes down under the latest challenge on him. Breaks forward. Oh, Siddiqui's wasted that. Edge of the area in the D, tried to pass it to his right to Isidore and horribly overhit it all the way. I mean, almost hit the corner flag with the pass.
It was very clumsy, wasn't it, from Siddiqui? I mean, Isidore was 2 or 3 yards to his right-hand side. He was just trying to play a delicate ball in between two Villa defenders. Ends up going out by the corner flag. He got that one very wrong.
The delicate touch of the lumberjack from Noah Siddiqui. Sunderland 0, Aston Villa 1 into the last 20 minutes. Gessan is going to be the man to be replaced by Doniel Marlin, the Dutch international, who actually goes all the way over to the right-hand side now, doesn't he, Marlin? Ball in the Villa penalty area, and Villa through the goal scorer Cash, who's then blatantly pulled back by Siddiqui, and that's a yellow card. He's not had a great minute and a half, Siddiqui. Now he's booked. Free kick to Villa. So this if it is to be a Villa victory, I'm sure this will be discussed on the Monday Night Club tomorrow. Mark Chapman with Chris Sutton, Rory Smith and Joe Hart back on the Monday Night Club. And actually from 9 o'clock tomorrow we'll have our first Ryder Cup show of the week. From 9 o'clock, Ian Carter and Alistair Bruce Ball will be at Bethpage, and that starts the ball rolling all the way through the week. We'll have all of the build-up. There's a big preview on Thursday night. That's when the opening ceremony will be taking place, and then blanket coverage on 5 Live Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This time next week we'll be heading towards the start of the singles. Ball forward for Villa. Marlon came off a Sunderland head. Marlon all the way through the middle, and then an excellent challenge. Mukiele just did enough. Marlon tried to take it round the goalkeeper, but the defender, the recovering defender, excellent play from him. And the ball in the end came off Marlon. It's a goal kick.
And he puts his arms in the air. Marlon looks at the referee, wants a penalty, but the defender did extremely well. Ball flicked on into Marlon. He's halfway through the Sunderland half, almost one-on-one with the goalkeeper, but Mukiele does really, really well. Gets himself back goal side and just eases Marlon out to play, into touch, and gets himself a goal kick. Really good defending.
Just into the game, Marlon, but if he'd been able to score there, that would have been the end of it as a contest, you would have thought. But really, not even able to get an attempt in on goal. And Sunderland come forward. Talby's cross, bounces in the box. Isidore with a shot on the turn, but that was blocked away by Konsa. Comes out to Sadiki, then back to Talby again. Talby running across the corner of the penalty area. Right foot shot, but that hits another defender inside the penalty area. Bounces up in the air, headed back over the top. Isidore! He's scored! Sunderland have equalised! The 10 men draw level! Boy, he took that well! And now Wilson Isidore has scored in all 3 home Premier League matches for Sunderland this season, and it's 1-1.
It's a superb header from Granit Xhaka. The stadium of lights just erupted. The hard work, the determination's paid off. There is going to be a VAR check to see if Isidore was onside. It was a cleared ball back to Granit Xhaka with the most delicate of headers back over the Aston Villa back line. Puts Wilson Isidore in. First time finish past Emi Martinez, nothing he can do. Ball headed up and away into Granit Xhaka. Very delicate header over the back of Aston Villa's back four, and at first glance it looks like he's going to be kept onside. It's a wonderful finish by Isidore.
I think he's all right, Paul. I think he's onside. There was another Sunderland man coming back from an offside position, but Isidore was onside. Listen to this, they're on the feet here inside the Stadium of Light, looking down in front of us. Warm applause. I think against the 10 men, when Villa took the lead, I think many of them will have thought, yeah, here we go, it's going to be a Villa victory. But no, the match restarts and it is Sunderland 1, Aston Villa 1. So Villa pegged back, but John McGinn carrying the ball forward. The Villa captain, now to Rodgers to his left. Rodgers cross, that's deflected into the penalty area. Matson back to Rodgers. This is in the Sunderland right back position. Good noise now coming out of the Roca end to our right, and that actually is now reverberating all around the home sections of the stadium. The Villa fans right up on the top of the stand to our left. Marlon, what about that chance now Marlon had when he was through and wasn't able to get a shot in on goal, Paul? Not able to get a shot in on goal, and Sunderland very swiftly after that equalising at the other end through Wilson Isidore's third goal of the season. Villa with Camara, little ball to Elliott, and then back to Camara again. Harvey Elliott drops deep, he plays it square. Tyrone Mings. Sunderland just taking a breather here, out of possession in their own defensive third. Rodgers from the left. McGinn now turns into the challenge, but actually is dispossessed, and Sunderland will take it away. Hume and Lefay gets it back. It could have gone for the long pass forward. There's a little bit of frustration there. Xhaka thought he was going to give it away to Marlon, but Dan Ballard was able to get into the challenge, swing it forward, but Talby on the far side couldn't keep it in. Throw into Villa, 1-1.
Got to be impressed with Sunderland, the determination and the resilience and the togetherness of this side. You could see when they came out from the second half, the togetherness. They had a little huddle, there was high fives when tackles were going in, and they've grown in confidence in this half, and the goal against them hasn't dented their confidence.
Rodgers now with a run into the penalty area, half cleared away. Marlon in the D takes it out of the penalty area and then just rolls it over there to the right hand side. 3 substitutes for Sunderland about to come onto the field. once we get the next stoppage in play. Régis Lebris is going to try and freshen things up with his team having played for such a long time with a man disadvantage. Villa just knocking the ball around outside the Sunderland penalty area, goes out to the right-hand side to Cash, then back to Camara, across again to Mings looks up, red and white stripes in front of him, and then Rodgers, the ball was played into his path, took his eye off the ball, ran all the way through for a goal kick.
Yeah, that's been the story of Villa's second half. Kept a lot of possession in front of Sunderland, and they really haven't created all that. You know, we speak about the team that are lacking in confidence in the forward areas, but it's been really evident today. Sunderland down to 10 men haven't had to do all that much to stop Aston Villa. I find it very, very hard to think of any chances other than the goal that Villa have created. The one for Marlon maybe in the second half, but they've offered so little, Aston Villa.
Right, here come the changes for Sunderland. Isidore's going to be replaced by Mayenda. I think we were expecting that. Talby is off, and Arthur Masuaku is coming on. And also, I'm thinking Lefay possibly, who was a doubt. It is Enzo Lefay, who is the third player, the number 28, who is going to be replaced by the on loan Dutch international from Leipzig, Luciano Hertrauder, is coming on for him for what will be his second Sunderland appearance, his home debut actually.
Any relation to Herr Chapman?
No relationship to Herr Chapman, Herr Tuchel or Herr Flick, who I was watching the other night, Hansi Flick. Sunderland 1, Aston Villa 1. 10 minutes to go. Villa are also going to make a double change, and Jadon Sancho is going to come on, and also waiting there on the side of the pitch, Lamar Bogard. So after the triple change for Sunderland, it is 1-1. So 1-1 here on Weir side in the sunshine. And still Bournemouth 0, Newcastle 0 in the Sports Extra commentary match. Still Bristol City 0, Oxford 1, Partick Thistle 0, Celtic 0. We'll, I'm sure, be going to Firhill before long to hear from Gavin Wallace. And here comes this this double change for Villa then, Paul, as well for the final stages.
Yeah, it looks like Morgan Rodgers, who's been very ineffective today. His numbers just gone up.
Yeah. Disappointing. I thought he was excellent in Belgrade for
Superb,
England.
wasn't he? Really, really good. Excellent. Found himself in those pockets, found holes, found space, and he was really, really effective. Been disappointing in a Villa shirt.
So Rodgers and Camara coming off, and of course Camara's just coming back from hamstring injury. Came on as a substitute in the Cup on Tuesday night, started today. So there is the change, the double change for Villa, with Bogard coming on into the midfield, the number 26. Sunderland 1, Aston Villa 1. Ballard heads it forward just inside his own half. Here is Bogard into the action for the first time, the number 26. Out to Cash on the right hand side. Cash still being booed for his part in the sending off of Reynildo, but if you weren't listening in the first half, Reynildo really, I feel, only had himself to blame. Sent off just past the half hour. 1-1 after Matty Cash scored Aston Villa's first Premier League goal of the season, but Wilson Isidore with the equaliser. He's now substituted, so Mayenda is on up front, the number 12 for Sunderland, who scored in that opening win against West Ham. You might remember the first goal back in the Premier League. Villa coming forward, Maatsen with a cross into the penalty area. Marlon stretched, couldn't get there, wasn't cleared. Elliott with a shot, oh, it's wide from the edge of the box, and Harvey Elliott puts his hands on his head. That was a chance, tried to curl it into the top corner from the edge of the area, but wide.
Oh, that was a good chance. It was a really good chance for Aston Villa. It was a lovely ball from Jadon Sancho into the path of Maatsen. Plays the ball across the 18-yard box. The Sunderland defence don't clear it. Pops out to Harvey Elliott on the edge of the box with his instep, left foot. You just waiting, expecting the side of the net to bulge. Misses the right hand upright by a matter of inches.
Was not far away. That's the Harvey Elliott who we watched score those goals for England, the under-21s at the tournament in Slovakia, when he was terrific. during the course of that tournament. And just seeing as well a replay of Unai Emery, who put his hands on his face, swung away and threw his right foot up almost to chest level, leg fully extended. Sunderland 1, Aston Villa 1. Aston Villa still here thinking that they might be able to force their first victory of the season in the last 6 or 7 minutes here. That'll be the same as at Bournemouth-Newcastle. We're going to go there in a moment, but Villa with the ball in play. Maatsen now to the left-hand side to Jadon Sancho. Sancho, who made his debut on Tuesday, so this is Premier League debut, Jadon Sancho for Aston Villa. And then excellent work from Mayenda to win it back inside his own half and then play it over there to the left-hand side to the bursting forward Mukiele. And now Sadiki rides a couple of challenges and then passes it to Hume. Hume's cross. Mings just was able to readjust and head it down and away. And Harvey Elliott goes for the long pass forward, looking for the run of Ollie Watkins, but Watkins allowed it to bounce and it skipped away off the surface and out of play for a throw-in to Sunderland. So the score here is Sunderland 1, Aston Villa 1. What's the news with you, Andy Stevenson?
Still 0-0 here. The second half has been disappointing, John. Harvey Barnes is on as a sub for Newcastle. He just burst into the area but had the ball taken off his toe by James Hill just as he was about to shoot. It's Bournemouth 0, Newcastle 0.
Closing stages in these Premier League matches. Still the opening stages in the League Cup with you, Gavin Wallace.
Yeah, 15 minutes gone. It's Partick Thistle 0, Celtic 0, John. Iheanacho had a half-decent chance at the edge of the box, but he skied it. Other than that, Partick Thistle resolute. Thistle 0, Celtic 0.
And in the Championship, Aaron Paul?
Into added on time at the end of this first half. Bristol City 0, Oxford 1. I was going to tell you about a host of Bristol City chances, but in truth, John, they haven't even hit target once. Loads of them. Emil Riss played through the best. He's fired wide. Bristol City 0, Oxford 1.
Villa with Sancho on the left-hand side. Still 1-1 here. Back to Sancho from Mings. Little ball into the penalty area. Back from Elliott to Sancho. His cross is blocked away, out of play for a throw into Villa, just next to the corner flag. Hume was the man who was able to get that block on it. Maatsen. Back to the new Aston Villa number 19, Jadon Sancho, 25 years old now. Across to Cash. This is where he hit his shot that ended up in the goal from, but that's blocked on the edge of the penalty area. Couldn't happen twice. Sancho now again into the penalty area. Sancho has Maatsen, still trying to find a position, shoots, deflected across the penalty area, but then Alderete is able to get a touch on that and he gives it to Mayenda, and Mayenda, lovely footwork from him to take it away from a couple of Villa players and then passes it out to the left-hand side to Mukiele. Granit Xhaka very calmly then plays it back again over there to the left-hand side to Alderete. They have been pressed, I must say, Sunderland here.
I was just going to say, John, it's been a very impressive Sunderland defensive performance as well as a tactical performance in the second half. They've known exactly what they've had to do with the 10 men, making the changes to the system at half-time, but actually the system and how narrow that they've played, how narrow they've defended. They've directed all the Aston Villa traffic into the middle of the park where they've got the three central defenders. They've got Xhaka in front. Sadiqi's played excellently well, and at no time there's been no more than a 10 or 15 yard gap between them. You can see now how close together that the back five are.
As Maatsen is bundled over by Granit Xhaka, and that's a booking for the Sunderland captain for that. He was there were plenty of players covering players, but just eased him over, tripped him, a little flick. Probably knew what he was doing, Granit Xhaka. We are going to see another Sunderland change. Dan Neil's going to come on into the midfield. It'll be his first appearance in the Premier League this season, another of the men that was so important last season, but all of the changes mean that some people have had to wait for their opportunities. Free kick then. Free kick for Villa. 2 minutes of the 90 to play. McGinn takes it square to Bogart, then McGinn gets it back. Here it comes to Sancho again on the left flank in the shadows of the Jimmy Montgomery stand. Sancho. Then back to McGinn. McGinn left-footed in towards the back post, and it hits a Villa body in there. Watkins it was. Mukiele was with him, and Mukiele was very pleased to see the ball drop into his path, and he was able to whack it out of play near the halfway line. Back to Ashton Gate, Aaron Paul.
Mass exodus to the pie kiosk from from three sides of Ashton Gate. You can hear the boos as well, John. Przemysław Placheta, what a goal. Controlling the ball on his chest, edge of the area, and he's just drilled it left-footed into the top corner. What a goal this is, and what a performance from Oxford United this first half. Bristol City failing to lay a glove on them. At half-time, it's Bristol City 0, Oxford United 2.
Corner here to Aston Villa after another promising move down the left. Corner to be swung in right-footed. In fact, it's taken short to McGinn by Sancho. McGinn near the left corner of the box. Tries to bring it onto his right foot, then turns back onto his left and still going. And in comes the cross from McGinn, which is over Konsa, who is backpedaling away on the far side of the penalty area. Elliott is able to collect possession again for Villa. Back to Cash near the halfway line. Long crossfield pass from him. Mings goes down, makes it look as though he was being manhandled by Hume, but there's no appeal. Then McGinn's ball in, comes off the head of Mukiele, hasn't cleared the penalty area. That's volleyed away by Elderesi, then it's missed by Siddiqui, who took an enormous swipe at it, missed it completely, and I think he might have pulled it.
He's not pulled his hamstring.
Siddiqui's now gone down with cramp, I think. I think it's cramp, or it's still Villa coming forward. Maatsen cutting it back. Sunderland just able to poke it away, and then there's a foul on Hume by Watkins inside the box. And Siddiqui near the halfway line, I think it is cramp, Paul, because Tyrone Mings is being the good Samaritan.
John, please describe to our listeners what he's just done.
5 minutes of added time, and this is Siddiqui, who is going to be replaced. he's up on his feet now. Now he's applauding the crowd. He's all right. I don't think it's a hamstring, Paul. I think that massive swipe of the ball just brought on cramp. I mean, if what we've seen from Noah Siddiqui today, this DR Congo international, is an example of how he plays his game, signed from Union Saint-Gilloise. He's going to be quite a favourite here, isn't he?
Yep, full of energy, full of running, not afraid of a tackle, and he puts in a real shift. You look at the distances covered today, he's in the top three of the field, and he's going to be a real asset to Sunderland.
5 minutes of added time then. Sunderland 1, Aston Villa 1. Sunderland playing an hour now with 10 men, so this a home point against Villa. Despite their poor start to the season, this would, I think, represent a satisfactory result. We'll try and hear from both managers before Arsenal Manchester City gets underway. 5 Live, the place to hear that. Ball played in from the left-hand side, cleared away by Sunderland, only to Tyrone Mings. Still 0-0, Bournemouth Newcastle as well. Going to try and go there if we get the chance, but Sancho, right-footed ball in from him. Watkins with a chance, couldn't get the head on it. Or if he did, it was just a tiny glance. 6 yards out, Ballard was with him, doing enough to put him off, but Ollie Watkins not able to head it in. Instead, it goes wide.
What an incredible chance for Aston Villa. Good play on this left-hand side. This time it comes to Jadon Sancho. He's got all the time in the world, all the space, cuts back onto his right foot, drifts a lovely ball in, 6 yards out. Ollie Watkins completely unmarked, misses his header, goes across his forehead, doesn't even go out. Oh, Matty Cash coming in at the far post as well. He could have got a touch on it. 2 Aston Villa players, but that is a real chance for Ollie Watkins.
Yeah, great ball in from Sancho. Should have been 2-1 Villa. Still Sunderland 1, Aston Villa 1. Bournemouth Newcastle, Andy Stevenson.
Should have been 1-0 to Bournemouth here. We're into added time. Nick Pope has just brilliantly saved a Justin Kluivert free kick right on the edge of the area. Had so many bodies in front of him, but parried it away down low. Bournemouth 0, Newcastle 0.
Villa, Unai Emery, they are believing that they can snatch the winner here. Konsa to Elliott. Elliott now onto his left foot. He curls one in. Marlon got his head to that. It's headed away by Mayenda. Comes out to Marlon in the D. Shoots deflected. Oh, chance Watkins headed it straight at Roofs, but the offside flag was up against the centre forward.
He didn't know. Ollie Watkins had no idea that the offside flag was up against him on the far side. He had his back to the assistant, But once again, Aston Villa somehow get the ball to Watkins in the middle of the 6-yard box. This chance probably slightly more difficult. He's kind of got half his back to goal, but it's a free header, nobody around him. He doesn't know it's offside, and he heads it harmlessly straight at the goalkeeper. That's 2 incredibly good chances for Ollie Watkins. The first one that he's missed, I don't know how he's missed it. He's just not even made connection.
Yep. I'm afraid Ollie Watkins' name's going to be mentioned on 606 later, isn't it? I would expect, after our Arsenal-Manchester City commentary with Mr. Loophole and Chris Sutton. 1-1 here. Villa again come forward. Bright sunshine on that far strip, up and down the pitch. Now Bogard, back to Cash, then Elliott left-footed, another ball into the Sunderland box. Mukiele, he's been excellent as well, and Meander now has a chance to run after this, but Tyrone Mings gets there first. After Konza initially was beaten, Mings was able to sprint away, reach the ball first and pass it back to Martinez. We're in the final minute, Paul, 5th minute of added time. Elliott to Cash, the cross is coming in from the right back. Marlon goes for the spectacular, didn't make the contact. It was a sort of overhead scissor kick that he went for, but not able to get the contact that he wanted. Sunderland clear, Mings then forward, that's come off the back of Herr Trauder and is out of play for a throw-in for Villa. Sancho to Bogard. Bogard's pass into the penalty area, intercepted on the edge of the box, cleared away, and that is given as a free kick. And there are congratulations all round for Dan Neil for winning that free kick.
You wait till you hear the roar at the end of this game. 5 seconds away from the game finishing. With the added time, it will now be added time on added time. It's been a superb performance from Sunderland this second half. It really has. They've showed grit, they've showed determination, and it's one of those games that it will feel like a win for Sunderland, but it will feel like 3 lost points for Aston Villa.
And Sunderland, incidentally, their next 2 matches away to Nottingham Forest, that's the 5 Live or Sports Extra commentary next Saturday, Ryder Cup weekend, and then away to Manchester United. And Sunderland, as they have been today, as they have been this season, will feel that points are possible in those matches. And it's a point that Sunderland have got here at the Stadium of Light today, despite the first half sending off of Ray Neildo, and despite going down to Aston Villa's first Premier League goal of the season, scored by Matty Cash. Wilson Isidore equalised, and it's ended 1-1, and that is frustrating for Aston Villa.
Very frustrating for Aston Villa, but I think they got what they deserved, and it wasn't the win today. They didn't create enough, they weren't good enough going forward, but that's playing the same song sheet that we've played all season for Aston Villa. Same story. Sunderland came out in the second half very resilient, very hard to beat, set up with a back 5, the midfielders in front of that 5, and said to a team in Aston Villa who was struggling to create a low in confidence in front of goal, go on then, break us down. And the only way that Aston Villa could break them down was from a long shot, a distance from Matty Cash. Goalkeeper should have done better, but then Sunderland still had the determination, they still had the grit to get themselves back into this game. They showed a lot of team spirit, and there's a lot of heart can be taken from that game and carried forward for the rest of the season from them. That'll be a real platform.
Yes, handshakes all round down there in the shadows between the players of Sunderland and Aston Villa. So another point for Aston Villa, 3 points from 5 matches played this season, but still Villa looking for their first win of the season. Just looking at Ollie Watkins down there, who had those late chances leaving the field, still looking for his first goal of the season. But for Sunderland, 8 points from their first 5 Premier League matches, and that continues to represent a very decent start to life back in the Premier League after 8 years away, particularly in the circumstances today. And that's why that Sunderland post-match anthem had that extra feeling in it that you heard just now. So Sunderland 1, Aston Villa 1, the final score.
Back with you two in just a second. Full-time whistle's just gone in the game between Bournemouth and Newcastle. Andy Stevenson.
It finishes 0-0, and Nick Pope and Newcastle's back 5 nullified Bournemouth's attack. Tyler Adams had a drilled shot saved by the leg of Pope early on, and then Pope also saved a Justin Kluivert free kick from the very edge of the area in added time at the end of the match. At the other end, Jacob Murphy had an effort saved at close range by Petrovic, and then Nick Voltemada felt he was pulled back in the area by Bafode Diakite, but referee Rob Jones waved play on. VAR didn't get involved, it ends Bournemouth 0, Newcastle 0.
So Newcastle 13th after that. I know it's only after a handful of games. Bournemouth 3rd in the Premier League, 10 points from their 5 matches. Sunderland 7th after pulling out a draw against Aston Villa. They're playing with 10 men for over an hour. 1-1 it finished. John Murray and Paul Robinson inside the Stadium of Light. I mean, Paul, just on Villa first of all, I was going to start on Sunderland, but I noticed that when that free kick was given away about 40 seconds before the full-time whistle, Unai Emery actually shook Regis Lebris's hands then.
He was gone. He went down the tunnel.
And he was gone. I mean,
Yeah.
that tells you how he feels.
Yeah, he was off. He was gone down the tunnel, seen enough. I think he expected the referee to maybe blow the full-time whistle sooner than he did. But there's
Or was he making a point?
I don't know.
I think he's done that. I think he's done that
He's done it before, hasn't he?
Yeah. It's a little bit like Marco Bizot, isn't it? That we were talking about a couple of weeks ago. He's done that one before as well, hasn't he? That kind of reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah, not happy.
No, definitely not happy, and you can see why. It's just not clicking for Aston Villa. They look clunky. They don't look fluid. They're not the same team as they were last year. Obviously, they've got new personnel as well. But actually, we keep going on and on about them not scoring a goal. That's off the back today. They've got the goal, but they didn't create a lot. I mean, the 2 chances that Ollie Watkins had at the end, granted one was offside, but one was a glaring miss that he could have given his side the victory with. They'd look a bit slow, they look a bit pedestrian-like and methodical in possession. And the worst thing that probably happened for Aston Villa today, they needed a team to come out, have a go at them, be open, expansive and leave them space to attack, when actually what they got was 10 men in red and white shirts determined not to let them past. Probably the worst game that Villa could have picked today. I
think the Villa supporters, when they're on 6-6 later, will probably be calling for Elliott and Sancho to be in the starting lineup when they've got the Europa League on Thursday, and that's the thing for Villa now, is it's relentless now with their programme in the Europa League. So Bologna at home on Thursday night, then Fulham at home next Sunday.
And Sunderland, Paul, I mean, we talked about the money they've spent and the number of players that they've brought in. Wilson Isidore keeps making the case for himself, and he's making the step up look a lot easier than most.
Keeps scoring goals here as well, doesn't he? And I think the biggest thing that you can say about Sunderland today is how they look together as a unit and the resilience and determination that they came out with. It had quite easily have been easy for them to fold with 10 men. There was an excuse there, but they didn't look for excuses. They came out, they set the back 5, and they said it was a clear game plan. I think you've got to give the manager a lot of credit for that because of the way that he sent his team out. It's obviously something that they've worked on, because you can't just throw that out onto a pitch and go on then, let's see how that goes in the second half. They had a back 5, defensively resilient. They were very, very narrow, which forced Aston Villa, everything that they did, Villa should and could have gone wide. When Sancho did that, that's when they got the better opportunities. But Sunderland tried to force Villa down the middle into all the traffic, into the 3 central defenders, and their togetherness as a unit and that rigidity and the performance that they showed in the second half stands them in good stead. Listen, it's still early doors, isn't it? It's very, very early on. And I always say, don't look at the league table until the clocks go back. But they've certainly given themselves a great start to the season.
Paul, John, thank you both very much indeed. Paul Robinson, correspondent John Murray at the Stadium of Light. Gutsy point that for Sunderland, drawing 1-1 with Aston Villa, playing with 10 men Sunderland.